The boy Puffy called me though. Puffy called me back in the day. He called me. He was like, "I just want you to know."
The kid Puffy called me, however, Puffy got back to me in the day some time ago. He called me. He resembled, I simply believe you should realize don't have anything to do with your siblings. You know, I know what your identity is, nevertheless, we never met. And I simply need to call you Mantel. Let you in on that. I don't have anything to do with your siblings' demise. The narrative that guaranteed, which we know wasn't correct. Definitely no doubt CH out. We don't discuss things that are bought. Abel, we don't engage gibberish, my siblings, so we not in any event. Going to try and go there with all due regard, yet I value you as a writer asking thank you cause you listen quite a while. Back I'd have been like you, did you enlist someone to kill yet? No, you do it like a writer, better believe it. Definitely no. I mean, we wouldn't actually get into garbage like that, you understand what I'm talking about. It's hogwash, which we never accepted by the way Tupac's sibling Maffer Shakur has made sense of. Why his family scorns Diddy, particularly in the consequence of claims that Diddy could have been behind Tupac's demise. Diddy's name has been referenced concerning Tupac's demise throughout recent years, and it just deteriorated after Diddy's protector Keith D approached with charges that Diddy requested the hit that took Tupac out unexpectedly. However, Maffer Shakur accepts that the justification for why Diddy has never been gotten is that Diddy has the police in his pocket due to his cash and the way that he works for the federal authorities. Then again, police disdain the Shakur family due to their activism so they could have found out about Tupac's demise. And perhaps quite possibly it might have been forestalled. So is Diddy truly cahoots with the police? Is it conceivable that the police might have effectively forestalled Tupac's passing yet didn't? How about we get into it? Look, it were attempting to find him. Do you think Tupac was being watched by the public authority that he had chance? In our since Tupac kicked the bucket in a drive-by shooting on September 7th, 1996, there have been many paranoid fears encompassing how he kicked the bucket and who was mindful. While a significant number of these hypotheses are only that speculations, some might be really trustworthy. One of them is that Diddy employed individuals to kill Tupac. Diddy's name has frequently been referenced corresponding to Tupac's demise without anyone viewing it in a serious way. Yet this took a turn when Diddy's previous protector Key D was captured. Comparable to Pac's homicide before his capture, Key D had conceded various meetings in regards to the night Pac was killed by him. The drive-by shooting that killed Tupac was a demonstration of vengeance for a prior fight between the Crips, which Diddy was subsidiary with, and the Bloods, which Tupac was partnered with. Keefe D asserted he was in the secondary lounge of the white Cadillac that the shooter was in, yet he was not the one that terminated the shots. What does this have to do with Diddy? Well, Keefe D affirmed that Diddy was the brains behind Tupac's passing in this Vlad television interview. Keefe discussed how Diddy offered him $1 million to take out Tupac and his supervisor Suge Knight anyway. Keefe supposedly never got the cash in light of the fact that the partner at Diddy gave the cash to Eric Von Zip, who fled with it. As per Greg Kading, one of the criminal investigators who at first explored Tupac's homicide, police had consistently thought Keefe D and Diddy's inclusion for the situation in film of his prior interviews with police. Key D fundamentally owned up to killing Tupac and the way that Diddy recruited him to take out Tupac and Suge Knight. So assuming police had this data from the beginning, for what reason did they not follow up on it? While certain individuals, except examiners, were attempting to be certain that their intel was right and that everything happened the manner in which Keefe D said it did anyway, there may be a more evil motivation behind why police sat on data that could prompt the capture of Tupac's executioner. For very nearly 30 years, certain individuals could recollect Tupac as a rapper and musician, yet he was substantially more than that. Tupac was an extremist who experienced childhood in a group of activists. Anyway, their activism made the Shakur family adversaries of the state, and they were much of the time focuses of fear, ISM, and scheme charges. As a matter of fact, numerous individuals from the Shakur family went to jail sooner or later for their activism, and some of them even passed on in jail now. In the event that you could go on all day about the dark freedom development. You know how hard the U.S. government worked to sabotage the development records show that the FBI under the administration of Edgar Hoover used the co-Interpol to destroy the development and wipe out its central participants. They did this through a few methods, from out and out capturing, detaining, and killing dark progressives like MLK, Fred Hampton, and Malcolm X to barring dark families from gainful social framework. The Shakur family were not excluded from the FBI's counterterrorism endeavors to suppress the dark freedom development. His mom, Khomeini Shakur, was a political lobbyist and a focal figure in the Dark Puma party in the last part of the 60s and mid-7s. While pregnant with Tupac, Afeni confronted preliminary in New York as a piece of the Jaguar 21 lawbreaker case in spite of the fact that she was seen as not at legitimate. The fault for more than 150 charges, she actually went to prison for supposed psychological oppression. Tupac's dad, Billy Laurel, was likewise a dark lobbyist associated with the Dark Jaguar Party. Lumumba Shakur, Tupac's mother's most memorable spouse, was the head of the Dark Pumas in Harlem. He was tracked down dead in his loft in 1970, in spite of the fact that it would later turn out Lumumba was not Tupac's natural dad. Pass was raised by Mulu Shakur, Lumumba's stepbrother, who was likewise a dark pro. S. of Mulu was on the FBI's 10 most needed outlaws list for a considerable length of time in 1986. He was viewed as at real fault for a 1,981 burglary that elaborate the passing of cops and a watchman, and he was condemned to jail where he spent the following 37 years. In December 2022, Mulu was exonerated and let out of jail, yet he would die only 8 months after the fact. Correspondingly, Tupac's guardian, Elmer John O'Pratt, was a top figure in the Dark Puma party. He would be sentenced for homicide burning on through 27 years in the slammer before his conviction was upset, after a new glance at the case uncovered that the indictment had purposely hidden proof, effectively defending himself. One more dissident individual from the Shakur family is Tupac's adoptive parent, Assata Shakur, a previous individual from the Dark Freedom Armed Force. Assata was sentenced for first-degree murder in the passing of another Jersey state officer, yet she got away from jail in 1979. The FBI actually has a $2 million abundance on her head. One hypothesis in regards to Assata's break and Tupac's demise is that the FBI was attempting to get data that could prompt Assata's catch from Tupac. Yet how could the federal authorities be attempting to get to Assata through Tupac? Well, since early on Tupac had become a remarkable progressive himself. At 18, he joined the new African Dark Skillet Jaguars Party and started openly standing in opposition to prejudice and police fierceness, while additionally pushing for the arrival of dark political detainees. He later turned into the party's director, giving him more access and power. And in the event that you have heard Tupac talk, you realize he was expressive and magnetic, the kind of character individuals were continuously able to pay attention to. This didn't agree with the public authority. The FBI Battle on Tupac Shakur by John Potes is a book that contains the names, dates, and occasions prompting the demise of dark progressives like Malcolm X and MLK. The writer John Potes Nelly accepted that the FBI killed Tupac. In the book, Potes composed long stretches of gathered proof backings that the FBI organized the homicide of rap symbol Tupac Shakur, and that they utilized comparative strategies to kill other liberal dark pioneers. Huge number of pages of Insight Records court declaration and specialists' exposures uncover how the FBI pursued a conflict on dark pioneers. Famous people like Feline Williams appear to concur that the FBI was for sure associated with Pac's path. Even a few fans accept that Tupac was killed by the public authority and Keefe D is only a concealment. One fan said Key D is only a fall fellow for the homicide of Tupac. It was for an administration plot. Someone else said Tupac realized that child, Dark Jaguar development, the public authority required him gone by.